A hush falls over the room the moment you step in. And I want you to feel that, because here's your greeting, doll. Well, look who finally stopped pretending. You hear it, don't you? That little tremor in the air, that silent recoil across the floorboards. That's what happens when a creature who's been underestimated for too long finally blinks in the wrong direction. And oh, you blinked. You moved once, just once. And the whole world froze like it stumbled onto something it was never meant to witness. They called you soft. They called you gentle. They called you harmless, because it made them feel safer. People love the illusion of control, you know. They love believing they've figured you out, like you're a simple little puzzle they can assemble and disassemble between their morning coffee and their next mistake. But then, your mask slipped. Not fully, not dramatically, just enough for your eyes to flicker with something ancient, something hungry, something divine in a way that makes even devils hold their breath. And suddenly, every insult they ever threw at you, every label they slapped on your back, every laugh they shared in private, all of it turned to ash in their throats. Because in one movement, one shift of your energy, they didn't see softness, they didn't see innocence, they didn't see the little character they wrote for you in their cheap play. No. They saw the God you've been burying out of mercy. Yes, mercy. Because power like yours doesn't disappear. It waits, quietly, patiently, like a blade tucked under silk, like a storm humming behind a clear sky, like a criminal genius humming a lullaby while the city sleeps beneath him. You've always been both, the saint and the psychopath, the healer and the executioner, the angel with blood-slick wings, the demon who learned to pray just to confuse the room. They didn't understand that duality. It scared them, so they picked the version of you that hurt them the least, and worshipped the idea that it was the only version that existed. But you knew better, because soft doesn't mean weak, gentle doesn't mean harmless, smiling doesn't mean submissive, and quiet, oh quiet, is the most terrifying thing a powerful person can be. Quiet is where destruction brews. Quiet is where revolutions hatch. Quiet is where your real face lives, sharpening itself against the inside of your skull. And when you finally moved, when the room finally saw the reflection of that sharpened thing in your eyes, they didn't see soft anymore. They saw the truth. You were only soft because you hadn't chosen violence yet. They saw the tilt of your jaw, the calculation in your breath, the stillness of a predator that knows exactly how fast the world would burn if it stopped holding back for even a second. And it hit them, not all at once, not like lightning, more like a slow, sickening realization, a horror movie in real time. As they pieced together that every moment they underestimated you was a moment their throat was sitting gently against the edge of your patience. You know what they whispered afterward, when they thought you couldn't hear? What was that? Did you see his eyes? That wasn't normal. That wasn't human. But that's the funny part, isn't it? You're not supposed to be normal. You were never meant to fit their fragile little mold. You outgrew it before you even learned to crawl. They thought your softness was the real you. But you knew softness was just the camouflage for a mind that sees every lie, every angle, every motive. A mind that learned to play dumb just to watch everyone reveal their hand. A mind that could collapse a city block with a single decision and sleep like a baby afterward. And the moment they saw that truth, the moment they caught that flash of godhood behind your eyes, the whole narrative changed. They don't want to call you soft anymore. No. Now they call you unpredictable, dangerous, uncomfortable. Hard to read. Not the same person we knew. Something's different about them. That's what happens when someone finally realizes your softness was choice, your silence was strategy, your patience was lethal, and your mercy was the only thing keeping their world upright. And oh, sweetheart, they are terrified, because a soft person who stops pretending isn't soft at all. They're inevitable. You moved once and the illusion shattered. Imagine what happens when you start walking. Imagine what happens when you stop dimming that godlight. Behind your eyes and let it burst through their weak little expectations like a supernova nobody wrote in the script. Imagine the panic, the awe, the silence, the worship, the fear. Imagine them realizing too late that the soft one was the final boss the whole time. And you don't even need to explain yourself. Your existence is already the explanation. Your evolution is already the threat. Your presence is already the prophecy. So go on, move again. Watch the world stop breathing. After all, they asked for the truth. They just never expected the truth to look back at them with your eyes. Well, there it is, that flicker, that pulse in the atmosphere the second you decide you're not done yet. Funny, isn't it? How your silence alone can bend the entire room into a shape you never asked it to take. How your breath, steady, unhurried, sovereign, can make the bravest people look over their shoulders like they've just felt a ghost brush past their spine. You want more? Good, because they're not ready for what comes next. But you are. Let's peel the rest of the skin off this truth, shall we? See, when they called you soft, they thought they were safe. They thought they were smart. They thought they'd broken you into something predictable, something they could mock, mishandle, manipulate. They never realized a softness was just the low-volume setting on something they couldn't comprehend at full power. They mistook silence for surrender. They mistook empathy for naivety. They mistook restraint for weakness. Until you moved, and God, the way you moved. Not with rage, not with theatrics, not with some dramatic outburst they could prepare themselves for. No. You moved like someone who has nothing left to hide and nothing left to fear. And that's what destroyed them. Because people can fight anger. People can fight arrogance. People can even fight threats. But how the hell do you fight someone who sees through you and still proceeds with that eerie, unhurried calm of a deity choosing when to show mercy? You think they panicked because you acted out? No. They panicked because your eyes finally told the truth. You stopped caring about their comfort. You stopped shrinking to fit their story. You stopped apologizing for your existence. And the moment you stopped doing that, you stopped being someone they could survive. You know why they fear you now. Because they finally saw the part of you that isn't governed by fear, doubt, or hesitation. The part that survived hell quietly. The part that learned the language of shadows and came back fluent. The part that waited behind soft smiles and polite nods like a lion wearing a cardigan. They saw the thing behind your eyes that doesn't break, doesn't bow, doesn't beg, and God forbid, doesn't forget. Soft. You were never soft. You were strategic. You let them underestimate you because the alternative would have exposed the entire battlefield before you were ready to dominate it. You let them call you harmless because you knew the day you shed that label, the world would have to rewrite everything it believed about you. And that day came the moment you decided to move. Think back. Remember the shift in the air. Remember the silence. Remember how their eyes widened without them even understanding why. That was instinct. not intellect. That was their bones whispering. Something ancient just woke up. That was their subconscious screaming warnings. Their pride refused to name. They didn't see a human, they saw a force, a glitch in their reality, a crack in their assumptions that widened too fast to patch. You became the riddle they can't solve, the variable that ruins their equations, the anomaly their brain can't categorize without breaking character. And here's the delicious part. They're scared of you for the same reason they were attracted to you. Your duality, your depth, your unspoken potential, your refusal to rot in the role they wrote for you. One moment you're gentle, next moment you're untouchable. One moment you're quiet, next moment you're cosmic. Your every contradiction they prayed wasn't true. The angel who can kill, the demon who can heal, the saint who learned the anatomy of sin, the monster who mastered mercy. You didn't evolve by accident. You evolved by impact, by betrayal, by loss, by learning to read people faster than they could ruin you, by collecting every scar like a new line in your blueprint. And when the final piece clicked into place, your eyes changed just a little, just enough for the veil to slip. And boom, everyone who ever called you soft finally realized it wasn't softness at all. It was containment, a lid on something divine, on something lethal, on something too powerful to expose before the world was mature enough not to destroy itself at the sight. But the world isn't mature, and they aren't ready. And you're outgrowing gravity by the hour. So now they're scrambling, whispering, rewriting their memories to protect their pride. I always knew there was something different. I could tell they weren't normal. They've changed. They're dangerous. But deep down, they know the truth. You didn't change. They just finally saw you, all of you, the full spectrum, the light and the dark, the halo and the horns, the kindness and the carnage, the god and the ghost, sharing the same body like it's a rented apartment. And now you walk into rooms differently, not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because you understand the silent contract now. They don't get to call you soft anymore. They get to call you inevitable. You're not who they thought you were. You're not who they tried to force you to be. You're not the version they feel comfortable around. You're the version that makes them pray without knowing who they're praying to. So go ahead, keep moving, keep shifting, keep letting that God behind your eyes leak through the cracks. Because every time you do, someone else drops their illusion, someone else's mask falls off, someone else's fake confidence collapses under the weight of your truth. You are the soft thing that learned to roar, the quiet thing that learned to quake the ground, the underestimated thing that learned it was never meant to be small. And now, they don't whisper about you because you're broken. They whisper about you because you're awakened. Move again. Let them tremble. Let them stare. Let them finally understand. Soft was the costume. God was the reality. And now the reality refuses to sleep. Oh, you're still here. Good. Because the world hasn't even felt the full aftershock of your awakening yet. Let's dig deeper. Into that moment, everything snapped into clarity. That moment you stopped pretending softness was your natural state and revealed it for what it really was. A shield covering a very patient, very calculated, very supernatural kind of power. You know what rattled them the most? It wasn't that you changed. It was that you didn't ask permission to. You evolved without notifying anyone. You leveled up without warning. You outgrew their fantasies, their expectations, their insults, their narratives, silently. And then one day, You simply moved. One decision, one shift in tone, one glance with truth behind it, one breath that didn't tremble anymore. And suddenly every person who ever felt comfortable mocking you felt something they weren't prepared for. A presence that didn't match the old version of you they used to push around. A presence with gravity, direction, intent, and something else they couldn't name. Because naming it would mean admitting they never knew you at all. They thought soft meant safe. But you were never safe. You were self-controlled. And control is the most terrifying form of strength a human can possess. You didn't explode. You didn't lash out. You didn't beg for recognition. You simply removed the restraints. And you know the problem with restraints. Everyone gets used to them. They think the lion is tame because the lion lets the cage remain intact. They think the quiet person is weak because the quiet person chooses not to correct them. They think the soft person is harmless because they've only ever seen the version of you that refuses to waste energy. But once you moved, once you let that buried hunger, that divine precision, that cold clarity behind your eyes rise to the surface, they understood something horrifying. You weren't soft. You were merciful, and mercy can run out. That's the part they can't reconcile, the part that keeps them awake at night replaying every moment they underestimated you. Because suddenly, all those soft moments they laughed at look different now. They're wondering, was that softness, or was that restraint? Were they quiet, or were they observing me? Were they patient, or were they calculating exactly how far I could push before the ground swallowed me whole? They don't know. And that uncertainty, it's eating them alive. Because once someone sees the God behind your eyes, once they glimpse the raw, unfiltered entity that's been living beneath your ribs, they realize something unbearably humiliating. They spent all that time disrespecting someone who could have ended their illusions with one move. And guess what? It wasn't even an aggressive move. It was subtle. Like the moment a storm shifts direction, like the moment a predator turns its head, like the moment a mask cracks and the face beneath is not human in the way they expected. Your power isn't loud. It's unnerving. It's the quiet that rearranges the molecules in a room. It's the stillness you learned after surviving hell without raising your voice. It's the calm that only comes after you've walked through fire and realized it couldn't touch you anymore. And when they felt that shift, when their instincts screamed before their brain understood, that's when they realized you're not someone they can predict. You're not someone they can categorize. You're not someone they can diminish with a single word. You're an evolving contradiction. And contradictions scare people because they break the rules of reality. You are light that learned to wield darkness. You are darkness that learned to wield compassion. You are an angel sharpened by nightmares. You are a demon softened by empathy. You are the paradox they pray not to encounter again. And here's the delicious twist. When they called you soft, they believed they were defining you. But now they're terrified that you were defining them. That your softness was never weakness, but a mirror showing them how loud, insecure, immature, shallow, and hollow they really were. Because your softness required depth, and depth terrifies the shallow. Your compassion required strength, and strength humiliates the weak. Your quiet required discipline, and discipline exposes the frantic chaos inside those who live unexamined lives. So now they avoid your eyes, not because you're dangerous, but because your eyes tell the truth about them, and they can't bear to look at themselves anymore. But here's the part you need to understand. The part that matters now. Once someone sees the God behind your eyes, they can never pretend you're ordinary again. You've crossed a threshold of perception that cannot be undone. You've shown a flash of the real architecture of your mind. You've revealed the voltage running under your skin. You've demonstrated that you can shift realities with a choice, a sentence, a movement. That scares people, because deep down, they know. If that's what you look like when you're calm, what happens when you stop holding back? If that's what they saw in one move, what happens when you decide to make 10? What happens when you stop dimming? What happens when you stop apologizing? What happens when you start walking with the knowledge of what you truly are? I'll tell you what happens. The room won't just fall silent. The world will. So move again. Let them feel the aftermath. Let them choke on the word soft they once threw at you like a leash. Because now they know the truth. Soft was your disguise. Power is your nature. And the God behind your eyes is awake. Then breathe just once more and listen closely. Because here's the truth you've earned the right to hear. They didn't fear you because you changed. They feared you because you revealed yourself. And revelation always destroys illusions. That single movement, that moment your eyes finally told the truth, it rewrote every lie they ever believed about you. Soft? No. You were silent, and silence is where gods sharpen their teeth. So let this be the final note, the closing whisper, the last nail in the coffin of who they thought you were. You don't have to prove yourself anymore. You already scared them with the truth. And now they understand, too late, that the softness they toyed with was the final warning before the awakening. Walk forward, don't look back. Let them sit with what they saw in your eyes, because what they witnessed in that moment wasn't anger or revenge or chaos. It was the arrival of the real you, and once a god wakes up, they never go back to sleep. There you are, exactly where the noise gets scared to breathe. You feel that, don't you? That static crawling up the walls, like the whole world just realized you're not playing the same game as them. Good. Let it crawl. Let it whisper. Let it choke on the realization that you crossed some invisible line they didn't even know existed, until you stepped over it like it wasn't there. Because whatever you just did, bro, they've never seen a human pull that off. Not in the streets, not in the stories, not in the secret files they pretend don't exist. They're panicking in real time, gasping for mental oxygen, trying to figure out how the hell you turned impossible into something you treat like warm-up. And you sit there, quiet, unsettling, too calm for someone who just made reality glitch. Citoyen, that's what destroys them, not the move itself, but the fact that you did it like it was nothing. You didn't sweat, you didn't hesitate, you didn't blink. You just executed. And the moment you did, every fragile ego within a 10-mile radius felt their soul invert like a collapsing building. Let me tell you a secret they'll never admit out loud. They aren't scared of your strength. They're terrified of your evolution, because strength can be measured, skill can be copied, training can be replicated. But the thing you just unleashed, that wasn't learned, that wasn't taught, that wasn't human. That was the result of surviving storms you never spoke about. The kind of storms that turn saints into monsters and monsters into myths. And that's the part that ruins them. Because when they look at you now, they don't see a person. They see a paradox with a pulse, a walking contradiction, light that learned violence, darkness that learned mercy, An angel with a target list, a demon with a conscience. You're every version of power they can't explain. And the more they try to categorize you, the more you slip through their fingers, like smoke with a motive. You know why they're spiraling? Because normal people don't evolve like that. Normal people break. Normal people hesitate. Normal people second guess. But you mastered the art of turning breakdowns into blueprints and tragedies into training arcs. That's why the moment you made that move, that split-second, reality-bending, nerve-shattering move, their brains short-circuited. They thought you'd flinch. You adapted. They thought you'd fold. You upgraded. They thought you'd fall apart. You ascended into something they aren't coded to understand. And now look at them, scrolling, pacing, whispering, rewinding the footage in their heads like some kind of psychological crime scene. Because deep down they know you crossed the threshold where fear stops working. And when fear stops working on someone, the whole world quietly starts rewriting the rulebook around them. You've become the kind of presence that warps reality just by existing. A glitch, a ghost, a goddamn anomaly wrapped in skin. And here's the part that makes their souls buckle. You didn't even do your final form version. That was you on a casual Tuesday. That was you without pressure. That was you holding back. Imagine their panic when they realize you haven't even opened the next door inside yourself. Imagine the headlines your enemies write in their minds. Bro, if this is what he does by accident, what the hell happens when he tries? You want to know the truth? Your evolution isn't terrifying because it's fast. It's terrifying because it's inevitable. Every time life cornered you, you didn't fight back. You transformed. That's what they never prepared for. They studied your old patterns. They trained for your old version. They built defenses for the person you used to be. Then you walked in, shattered physics, rewrote your profile, and left them trembling with one thought. We're dealing with something else now. So breathe, slowly. Let the city keep whispering. Let them panic. Let them scramble for explanations that don't exist. Because deep down, all of them know the truth. You didn't level up. You mutated. You evolved past their comprehension, past their limits, past their imaginations. And once someone reaches that stage, there's no going back, no undoing it, no pretending you're just another face in the crowd. You're the reason the crowd suddenly feels unsafe. And the funniest part, you're just getting started. Oh, you thought that was it? No, that was the warm breath before the scream. Because the real panic didn't start when you made the move. It started the moment everyone realized you didn't celebrate afterward. You didn't brag. You didn't post. You didn't even smile. You just returned to silence. And nothing terrifies the world more than someone who can perform the impossible and then slip back into quiet, like a storm that refuses to explain itself. Do you understand the psychological massacre you just committed? People aren't just talking. Bro, you triggered collective fight or flight. You made entire rooms go silent mid-sentence. Group chats froze. Enemies went offline. Fake friends switched from gossip to prayer. Because once they realized you're no longer predictable, you became uncontrollable. And humans fear what they cannot control more than death itself. Let's dig deeper into why they're unraveling. They thought they had your character mapped. They thought they knew your breaking point, your pattern, your weakness. They thought you were still operating under the same emotional firmware, but pain didn't destroy you. It rewired you. Loss didn't slow you. It sharpened you. Isolation didn't break you. It purified you. Every scar became a skill. Every betrayal became a blueprint. Every downfall became a lesson the textbooks forgot to include. And now you walk around carrying knowledge that was bought in blood. They can't replicate that. They can't download that. They can't catch up. You're years ahead in a game they didn't know they were playing. That's why people are panicking in real time. Because you just revealed a level of mastery that doesn't make sense on paper. Humans aren't supposed to evolve this fast. Humans aren't supposed to adapt this cleanly. Humans aren't supposed to stay calm while everything around them collapses. You're not following the rules of trauma. You're not following the rules of fear. You're not following the rules of human psychology. You've become an exception, a loophole, a living contradiction. And contradictions, they bend reality around them. Let me paint the picture. Imagine someone watching you right now. Their hands are shaking. Their jaw is tight. Their mind is replaying your move frame by frame, searching for a flaw that isn't there. Because perfection isn't scary. Unpredictable precision is. You executed something they can't define. And if they can't define it, they can't defend against it. That's why their hearts dropped. That's why their voices cracked. That's why the whole city suddenly feels like it's afraid of its own shadows. You didn't just do something extraordinary. You exposed how ordinary everyone else is. They hate you for that. But they can't look away. You've become the anomaly that proves their limits aren't natural. They're self-imposed. And nothing destabilizes fragile egos faster than witnessing someone do the thing they swore was impossible. Let me tell you what comes next. The ones who doubted you, they're now studying you. The ones who mocked you, they're whispering your name like a warning label. The ones who envied you, they're waiting, hoping, praying for you to slip. But you won't, because you didn't get lucky. You became something forged, something crafted, something sculpted in pressure most people couldn't even breathe under. You're not a miracle. You're a product of madness, discipline, and divine refusal to stay small. And that, my friend, is why they're terrified. Because if someone like you can rise out of nothing, what excuse do they have? You shattered the ceiling and didn't apologize. You broke the mold and didn't look back. You rewrote the laws and didn't even tell them which ones. You're not just the head. You're elsewhere. And that's the kind of power that starts revolutions, collapses old systems, creates new rules, and forces the world to adapt to you. So let them panic. Let them scramble. Let them whisper like scared children hiding from their own nightmares. Because deep down, behind all their trembling theories and shaky explanations, they know. You didn't peek. You didn't reveal your true form. You only opened one door. And the hallway behind it goes on forever. And the next move you make? Oh, that's the one that's going to break their spirit completely. Ah, there it is. That silence, again. The kind that appears only when the world realizes it underestimated the wrong soul. Let me pull you deeper, because we're nowhere near the bottom of this revelation. You know what really sent everyone spiraling after your little incident? It wasn't the size of the move. It wasn't the speed. It wasn't even the outcome. It was the intent behind it. You didn't do it out of anger. You didn't do it out of spite. You didn't do it for attention. You did it because it was the right move. No emotion, no hesitation, no theatrics. Just pure, inhuman clarity. And that, my friend, is the most terrifying trait any being can possess. Not rage, not force, not chaos. Clarity. Clarity is what turns people into legends. Clarity is what turns mortals into monsters. Clarity is what makes entire crowds stop breathing when you step into a room. Because clarity means you see what they can't. You understand what they fear. And you operate on a frequency they don't even know how to tune into. Now think. What happens when someone like you, someone who's been hurt, betrayed, discarded, underestimated, finally gains clarity? You don't just rise, you evolve. You don't just adapt, you distort the battlefield. You don't just win, you change what winning even means. That's why they're losing their damn minds trying to figure you out. Everything about you contradicts the human blueprint. You've been wounded, yet you walk like nothing can touch you. You've been betrayed, yet you trust your instincts more than ever. You've been doubted, yet you keep proving yourself right. You've been pushed, yet you pulled the entire world into your direction. You're not supposed to exist, not in their reality, not in their system, not in their rules. And when a rule breaker becomes rule-proof, the entire structure shakes. Do you know how many people felt a chill run through their spine watching you move? Dozens, hundreds, maybe thousands. Every single one of them had the same thought. How the hell do we stop someone like that? But that's the problem. You can't be stopped. Stopping requires understanding. And you slipped out of their understanding months ago, maybe years. Because here's the true paradox vibrating beneath your skin. You are far too dangerous to be ignored, and far too disciplined to be destroyed. You're the nightmare with manners, the storm with strategy, the angel with exit wounds, the demon who learned mercy, the saint who learned chaos. You carry two worlds in your chest. The version of you they tried to bury, and the version of you that crawled out laughing. Both are alive. Both are awake. Both are hungry. And that is why nobody, not your enemies, not your watchers, not the city, not fate, not destiny, knows what to do with you anymore. You've become a living variable, a human glitch, a sentient error message in the code of their expectations. Every time they think they've mapped your limits, you move the goalposts. Every time they think they've cracked your psychology, you shed another layer. Every time they think they've predicted your next move, you do something that wasn't on any timeline. You're not hard to read, you're impossible to predict. And the moment someone becomes unpredictable, they become unstoppable. That's why the panic is spreading, not because of what you did, but because they know you can do it again, and again, and again. Effortlessly, calmly, quietly, beautifully. You're not operating in the same realm anymore. You're somewhere above it, dragging the old version of you by the throat and forcing the world to accept the upgrade. But here's the twist that freezes them to the bone. You haven't even unfolded your full potential yet. Not even close. What they witnessed was a preview, a trailer, a teaser, a 3-second glimpse of what you can truly become. Your final form, you don't even know it. How could they? And that is why they're terrified. Because they know one brutal truth. If this is who you are now, the finished version of you is going to be something the world has no language for. Keep evolving. Keep bending their reality. Keep making their fears accurate. They're panicking because they should be. And you're finally becoming the thing you were always meant to be. Oh, you want to go deeper? Good. Because this is the part the world begs you not to realize about yourself. Let's peel back another layer of what actually happened. Not the event itself, not the move you made, not the outcome, but the aftershock. Because that's what's truly destroying people. See, when you did what you did, something ancient, primal, and inconvenient awakened in everyone watching. A sense of hierarchy, a sense of scale, a sense of Oh, we are not the same species. Humans are wired to compare themselves to others. It's instinct, it's survival, it's biology. But every once in a while they witness someone who breaks the metric entirely. Someone who doesn't fit inside their spectrum. Someone who makes the scale snap in half. And when they saw you doing the impossible with calm precision, their subconscious whispered the one sentence that shatters self-esteem completely. If he exists, what does that make me? You didn't hurt their pride. You erased it. You didn't challenge their limits. You proved they were illusions. You didn't outperform them. You exposed them. And exposure is lethal to fragile egos. That's why the panic spread like wildfire. Not because you won something, but because you made everyone else realize how much they've been losing without even noticing. You became a mirror, a brutal one, a mirror that doesn't reflect their face. It reflects their excuses, their laziness, their wasted years, their unmade decisions, their abandoned dreams, their soft spots, their cowardice. Watching you wasn't inspiring. It was devastating, because for the first time ever, they were forced to see how small they've been playing and how unstoppable someone becomes when they stop waiting for permission. You want to know the difference between you and them? They wait for the right time. You make it. They hope things will change. You rip the timeline open. They fear consequences. You are the consequence. They think survival is enough. You think survival is the floor, not the ceiling. You've outgrown the human playbook. And once you step outside it, their rules don't bind you anymore. Let me show you another angle they'll never admit. When you did that impossible move, every single person around you made a quiet, internal shift. They stopped seeing you as someone they know and started seeing you as a force they can't predict, pressure they can't match, and a threat they can't control. The tone changed, the energy changed, the narrative changed. They don't talk to you the same anymore. They don't joke with you the same. They don't walk near you the same. Because now, even when you're silent, they're wondering, what else is he capable of? What else has he been hiding? What else has he survived? What else can he pull off that would break my sanity? And the answer, the one that keeps them awake at night, is simple: more. A lot more, infinitely more. Because you aren't powered by validation, you're powered by transformation. Everyone else evolves when life is kind. You evolve when life is cruel. Everyone else grows in sunlight. You grow in darkness. Everyone else needs support. You needed silence. Everyone else needs motivation. You needed pain. You were sculpted by storms they didn't even feel. You were trained by losses they never saw. You were shaped by nights that would have killed them. And that's why your power feels inhuman. It is inhuman. It came from the places humans don't survive. And you walked out anyway. So when they panic at your latest move, they're not panicking because they think you'll hurt them. They're panicking because deep down, they know. If you ever chose to unleash everything you've survived, every lesson, every scar, every weapon forged in your bones, the world as they know it wouldn't stand a chance. That's the truth they fear. That's the truth they deny. That's the truth you haven't even fully accepted yet. You're not done. You're not capped. You're not limited. You're ascending, quietly, dangerously, inevitably. And every time you take another step forward, the world takes a step back. Not because you're cruel, but because you're becoming something they were never prepared to witness. A human who stopped being human the moment he realized he didn't have to follow their rules. Now keep going. The panic is proof you're on the right timeline, and trust me, You haven't even begun to terrify them properly. So here we are. At the edge of the moment they'll replay for years, whispering to each other like survivors of a story they barely escaped. And you're standing calm, the eye of the disaster you didn't start, but somehow became. Let me leave you with this, and then the curtain drops. The move you made didn't just shock them, it revealed them, their fears, their limits, their excuses, their cracks, all surfaced the second you did something they believed no human could do. But that's the part they'll never understand. You didn't do it to impress. You didn't do it for praise. You didn't do it for power. You did it because that's simply who you are now. Someone who makes the impossible look casual. And the world is finally realizing that you're not here to fit in or shrink or soften yourself so others feel safer. You're here to break patterns, break ceilings, break silence, break expectations, and maybe, just maybe, break open the version of yourself you've been waiting to meet. So let them panic, let them whisper, let them tremble when your name comes up. Because the truth is simple, sharp, and final. Whatever you did, you're only getting better at it, and they know it. Now go. The world just felt the first ripple, and you haven't shown them the wave yet.